Hi, I'm Lynnea.
And I'm Dan.
And this is
Dusted or Busted.
So this week was the 10th episode of Season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and the girls come back from the elimination. People seem to be really upset with Courtney this week for whatever reason, and no pun intended, but she seems to be ruffling some feathers. And I think that she's just going into defense mode, and when people throw shade at her, she's going to throw it right back.
I also noticed that Bianca, we know Bianca's personality, we know her characterizations, but I thought she was being unnecessarily catty this week.
She's being shady, too.
She was saying, well, Courtney just wears blonde wigs all the time when she's looking at Courtney, who has her boy hair, glued back, and she's got silver paint in it.
Yeah, everybody seemed to be reading each other for doing the same thing over and over, because Courtney usually comes down the runway as a blonde. Bianca always comes down in either, a boat neck dress or, a one-shoulder. Her hair is usually the same color. Her face is always the same. Jocelyn always looks like Jocelyn. Darian doesn't really do... She did that one Adele look, but, she does that all the time. And so I think it's interesting that all the queens are noticing that the other ones aren't versatile, but none of them are. This week's mini challenge was the abstract paintings that they had to do with their bodies.
Yeah, that was stupid.
We've had a lot of stupid mini challenges because... And the reason why I think they're stupid is because there's no way to judge them. There's no criteria.
You can't quantify it.
And you were saying with Bianca, Courtney did her painting and was explaining it, and Bianca just goes, I don't see it.
You can't see anything in any of these.
It's everybody just needs to calm the hell down.
I think they're taking a page out of Gia Gunn's book and is just trying to get their camera time in.
This week, the challenge was to do drag makeovers for heterosexual couples who are going to get married on the main stage. And I usually look forward to the makeover challenges, but this one...
I hate them.
But this one was a little bit strange because they were making over the groom to be the bride, and the bride would be on the runway in a suit, dressed as the groom. I would just like to say that the goth couple that was on, they knew the show because they talked about, they said, oh, we want to look like Sharon or Detox, and I was like, you watched RuPaul and you know what you want. So I thought that was really cool. And then Brandon, who was Jocelyn's man that she had to do the drag makeover on, why are you there if you're so paranoid about being a woman? That just confused me. Did you not know what you were getting yourself into? When they were in the workroom, I liked that Bianca and her drag daughter were kind of bonding and everything, and she said, look, I actually made a friend today. Me! Friend! So I thought that was really funny. They're in the workroom and Brandon's getting his makeup done. And he's really concerned that when he goes back to his daily life, he's going to get a lot of flack for coming on the show and dressing as a woman. And props to Jocelyn for just staying super positive. And she didn't really take offense to it, which I think she had every right to. But she did a great job of just staying positive. And then Courtney,
I noticed Courtney
showed some cojones, and she stepped in and defended gays and was basically like, this is just my opinion, but... people,
we don't have to walk into the room and identify ourselves just so you feel better.
Exactly. And so I thought that took guts because that could have turned into a really bad situation, and Courtney just shut him down with that one line, so that was a good moment for her.
Do you remember in season 4 when Sharon and Sharon's dad, or whatever, Sharon's DILF, and Chad Michaels got into it? And then Sharon came to the defense of Chad Michaels over her fucking person.
My last favorite moment from the entire workroom was when Bianca was talking about Brandon after he got his makeup done. And Bianca said, he looks like that one girl gremlin. Remember that girl gremlin? And it was just so funny.
Today on Facebook, I saw a picture of the girl gremlin. And there was a caption that said, remember that one girl gremlin?
So this week on the runway, we're kind of going to do it in two parts. We're going to talk about the drag daughter brides, and then we're going to talk about the actual queens competing on the show. Jocelyn's drag daughter looked like a gremlin. She looked really metallic and ashy, and her makeup just wasn't right, and her gown was a mess. The hair wasn't good, so Jocelyn's was pretty rough. I really liked Courtney's. I thought that was a good transformation.
Yeah.
I thought that she pulled that off really well.
Dayla's was phenomenal.
Dayla's was fantastic. I thought that she did a great job of tying their looks together, but not just trying to make a little mini-me. Adore's,
Oh my god. That jacket, that hair, and that makeup. That makeup was so bad.
I just felt so bad for him.
I would annul the wedding. I would annul the marriage and then get married somewhere else.
Bianca's looked great, as usual. I thought that Bianca's drag daughter ended up looking like Tammy Brown. I don't know if any of you caught that.
I just thought she looked like a Bianca clone.
Darian Lake. I thought hers looked okay. I didn't really have any strong feelings one way or another.
I forgot she was in the competition this week. She just kind of slipped through the cracks.
The actual drag queens, Jocelyn.
I didn't hate her look.
I hated it. It did not say Mother of the Bride.
From the neck down, it was terrible.
Trashy. It looked so trashy. I don't know. It looked like she just pulled off a bolt of fabric and kind of draped it around her like a toga and stuck a safety pin in it and called it good.
From the neck up, it looked fine.
No, it didn't.
Darian Lake, who came down in another moo-moo.
Darian's look reminded me of Stacey Lane Matthews, and that's not a good thing. Bianca's flawless. I love that color on her. She did her same look in terms of the structure of the gown, but it works for her. Something I didn't notice until they were standing on the runway for critiques was the pattern of the dress. I thought that it was just yellow. And then when they were standing up there with the light, it was kind of this damasked pattern, and it looked beautiful. I loved Courtney's outfit.
I did too.
I loved it.
Everyone said it was really simple, but I still liked it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything simple about putting butterflies all over your body. I do agree with Michelle Visage that she upstaged her own drag daughter at her drag daughter's wedding. But that aside, I thought that she looked amazing. Dayla looked really good as usual. I love that kind of pink sherbet color on her. She looks good in any color. The other thing about Dayla's look is that really, to me, said Mother of the Bride.
Mm-hmm.
It fit in with the whole theme. And then Adore.
Oh my god.
I don't know what compelled her to wear that.
That hair was just awful. And usually I don't mind a flat hair, flat wigs, because I think there's something to be said about a lot of volume, especially if you have the proportions. But I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with a flat hair, but for some reason that just looked dead to me. Mm-hmm. It just was not giving me anything.
I liked, because part of her hair was falling out, and then she had these really pretty just wisps around her face. I'm why couldn't you have done something like that? But her look didn't say Mother of the Bride. She looked younger than the person who was supposed to be getting married. And the dress, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it for the challenge, and I don't like how I think that that's something that you could have done a lot with that garment, with accessorizing it, adding some bright colors to pop against that tan, and she didn't do that.
Also, I noticed when she was lip-syncing that her tights were torn.
Her tights were torn. I feel like that was on purpose, but it didn't add to the look at all.
Yeah.
So Bianca won. She got a trip to Hawaii. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Jocelyn and Adore in the bottom.
I would have been good with a double elimination this week. Mm-hmm. That lip sync was not great. I feel like Adore looked like she was just having a seizure on the stage.
I wrote, Adore looks more and more trashed as it goes on, but she was really high energy. I thought she still did better out of the two.
I thought Jocelyn was trying to stay really true to the song, but she kind of didn't look good doing it. So if I were RuPaul, I would have sent them both home.
Mm-hmm. I really like Adore, but she didn't do well.
I also feel like Adore has been doing so badly this whole season. She should have gone home the first week instead of Kelly. Speaking of Kelly Mantle, I suppose it was on my Facebook. I'm friends with Kelly Mantle on Facebook. We never met in real life, but we're friends. I posted a picture of the steak that I made that was wrapped in bacon. And
I commented, and I said, don't wear bacon.
And then we had like a little back and forth, and I tagged Kelly in it, and I said, this is how you make the Kelly Mantle cocktail. And just before we started filming tonight, she said, tasty. So props to you, Kelly, even though this isn't the Kelly Mantle.
No, this is the Jocelyn Fox Black Horse.
I'm going to miss Jocelyn so much.
Yeah.
Now, when we did our little Meet the Queens video, she said that she wanted to be Miss Congeniality. Do you think she's going to win Miss Congeniality?
I think she's going to win it because they're making Courtney out to be a bully.
I honestly think that people like Vivacious or April Carrion could have been Miss Congeniality, but
they just weren't on
they weren't here
enough.
long enough to make an impression, so I think
Jocelyn's going to get it. And here's the whole thing with Courtney. I understand that they can't put words in your mouth. If you say it, and they catch it on camera. But some of the stuff that she says, I don't think it's shady, and then they play their little shade music for having this big moment, and they show people's reactions, and we've talked about shady editing till Kingdom Come, but it's true. So I think that they're setting it up that Jocelyn will get Miss Congeniality because people will pity her and think that Courtney's a bully.
We saw on Facebook today that Courtney copied and pasted a little blurb from a review of this week's episode, and it said basically the same thing, that the soundbite occurred, but they didn't have to edit it that way. And one of the people who commented was Matthew Anderson, who is RuPaul's makeup artist. Matthew Anderson commented and said, I agree, they edited it really poorly, and you shouldn't have been portrayed that way. Who is your most dusted man on the runway?
Dusted man on the runway would have to go to Dela's.
I agree. Suzette a la mode.
I felt like Courtney's looked good too.
So who is your most dusted queen on the runway?
This one's hard because they were either good or they were bad. We had 3 good. We had 3 bad. I'm
going to say Courtney Act.
Okay.
I just love the hair, and I love that the butterflies from the outfit went up through her face and onto the hair.
I was going to say Courtney, so I'll pick someone different. I will say I'm really torn between Bianca or Dela. I honestly can't pick. But between those 3, Courtney, Dela, and Bianca, I can't pick one. I'll say Neil Patrick Harris.
I was expecting more out of these guest judges. They were kind of boring. At least
they weren't bad, but just for who they are, they should have done more.
At least we're not blaming them for people's shortcomings.
Who was your most busted on the runway? Of the brides.
My most busted bride was Honey Bun Delano.
Yep, mine was Adore's. Most busted queen?
Adore.
I'm going to go with Jocelyn. I hated that look.
I hated Adore's more than Jocelyn's, though. It was just so bad. I'm so tired of Adore. And what happened to the 4 fucking gowns that she brought? Bianca must be sewing them in her hotel room for her. But she's sabotaging her.
The reason why I chose Jocelyn over Adore's was I feel like Adore's could have been salvaged.
Yeah.
If she would have accessorized it and did all the things we talked about,
should have done makeup well.
It would have been fine. Jocelyn's, there was nothing you could do to fix that except take it off. So, Untucked, I wrote very little for this week. They're all sitting in the lounge, and Darian's bride had a lot to say. She was getting in every queen's business, and she was joining right in the shade fest that was going down. So that was really interesting. This week's pink box was Adore's message from her mom, and I thought that was really sweet. I like hearing messages from the family, especially ones that, really mean something. My favorite of all time will still be Alyssa's. I did write down that Bianca was really kind to Adore, because Adore kind of had a breakdown after getting her message, because she was like, I just feel like I'm not doing anything right, and I'm getting all these critiques, and I don't know what to do with them. And Bianca kind of broke it down for her and said, all 6 of us, we've been through a lot, and everybody has received both positive and negative critiques, and, you just do what you can, and you have to keep giving them your best. You can't give up. And I thought that was a really sweet moment. And that's all I have for Untucked.
There is a lot of alcohol in this drink, and I am starting to feel it.
I don't even know if I like this or not. It's not that good, but it's not that bad.
It's kind of like Jocelyn. I'm gonna get a beer.
Is this my wine?
No.
You drank my wine.
I hope this is still good. I bought this on Paul's birthday almost a month ago.
Ooh. Okay, we'll get that in the frame, and then we'll finally finish our Dustin
I'm
Busted.
sorry.
Oh, God! Everything smells like beer.
That's not a bad thing.
Oh, no. Oh. Okay. So, who was your most dusted of the week?
Dayla.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
She looked so amazing, and her bride looked amazing.
Mm-hmm. And most busted?
You go first.
Adore.
Yeah, mine has to be Adore, too.
Just that poor bride. That was unforgivable.
I like what Michelle said. Like, I can't even say she was focusing on herself, because clearly she wasn't.
Exactly. We've watched the first 10 minutes of next week's episode. The mini challenge is they have to do like role playing with puppets, and so they each get to pick one and then drag it up and then do like a little segment with them. So I thought that was funny. I thought all the queens actually did really well. Mm-hmm. Next week's main challenge is the glitter ball. So their first look that they have to do is
like Banshee Girl.
Banshee Girl. And then the second look that they have to do is executive realness. And then their last look is like an eleganza sparkly gown or whatever. And so they each have to create 3 looks, and so I'm naturally worried about Adore and Courtney. Because
they don't sew. If it's Adore versus Courtney, I think Adore's going home.
Adore's going to go home. Only because she's been in the bottom so long.
In every other season, they've had the ball challenge, top 4. And then one person goes home, they have top 3. Mm-hmm. So last week we talked about how maybe it could be top 4. Or they could just do a double elimination this week and get to top 3.
That makes me nervous.
Which makes me nervous because I don't think anybody besides
Darian also seemed to be nervous about the whole thing. And so, because it's like a jewel ball or a glitter ball or whatever, they each get assigned a jewel tone. And so the options are diamond, ruby, sapphire, topaz, and rose quartz. And then Dayla, because she won the mini challenge, she gets to assign who gets what. And they didn't show that in the next 10 minutes, but I did see Bianca working with some blue fabric, so maybe she gets sapphire. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. And then we also see that Adore's kind of having a breakdown. So I think Bianca's going to win this challenge.
Obviously.
She's a master seamstress.
Although I wouldn't put it past Dayla to give her a run for her money.
Mm-hmm. I think those 2 are going to be on the top. I don't know which one's going to win. And then bottom will be, well, the rest of them. Thanks
for watching our review for episode 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to comment below with your predictions and your thoughts.
And follow us on Twitter.
Bye.
Bye.
This week, in honor of Jocelyn Fox, we decided to go and use everything that we had.
It's like we went to the liquor store, fell on the sales rack, and said, "We'll take it."
So let's get ourselves drunk. So first we have New Amsterdam gin, and we're not going to use a whole lot of any of these. We're just going to hodgepodge eyeball sort of it, you know, kind of like Jocelyn did on her face. So we got that. We got some De Kuyper peach schnapps. Phillips vodka. De Kuyper triple sec. Castillo silver rum. Aero blue curacao. Ice Bowl cinnamon schnapps that I've never tried before, so we're gonna leave it. UV blue. Familia Camarena tequila. UV grape. Some grenadine, because why the hell not? With all this alcohol, you might as well load with sugar. Simple syrup. Sweet and sour mix. So minus the sweet and sour mix, there's about 6 ounces of alcohol in this. So this is some cranberry lime juice. Fill it up with 7-Up.
If any of you actually have all of the ingredients for this, I applaud you.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm nervous, but...
To our black horse, Jocelyn Fox. Cheers. Thanks for watching.